This is Arum for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're at the top-ranked gym in Las Vegas. Ben, would you say this is your best moment as a coach in terms of the stable you've got right now? We saw the graphic that MTK put out, the kind of talent you've got right now in the gym. Obviously in Las Vegas at the moment, but I mean back home at the MTK Performance Centre. Is it your best moment as a coach?
Yeah, I suppose it's open for interpretation in people's opinions, isn't it? But always work with fantastic quality, been lucky enough, and at the minute it's a fantastic stable, but more so importantly than the potential and the ability and the champions that are in the gym, it's a very close-knit family type unit, and that's the most important thing. So if you enjoy what you do, then it makes it easy to go to work, and if as they say, a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter.
Let's go back to last weekend where a couple of your fighters were out. We'll start with Will Corley. Obviously you weren't present at the fight. Barry Smith kind of took control of that fight night, but impressed with Will's performance that night on the Matchroom card?
Yeah, I was very impressed. I know that a lot of people were talking about Will's performance. It was a fantastic performance in general, but when you consider that it was only his debut, I think he made a statement there in the potential he's got for his future.
Yeah, he definitely did. As you said, a lot of people were impressed that night, and obviously Shabazz Masoud, you were there, you travelled back from Las Vegas for a great win for Shabazz, a bit of a breakout fight for him?
Yeah, definitely. It was, Shabazz has wanted domestic fights for domestic titles for a long time. For whatever reason, hasn't been able to get the opportunity. So it was a case of, okay, you're going to have to take a risk. He was calling some names in an interview with you previously, probably about a year ago, and eventually got an opportunity to fight Diego Ruiz, 23-3 at the time. Yeah, it's a serious test for a lad that was 8-0. And won every minute of every round. Fantastic performance.
Can we compare Conlan's performance against him to Shabazz? Is that fair?
I think it depends on what you're looking for. I think that Shabazz controlled the fight in a lot more of in easier fashion. I think that from top to bottom he controlled it. I know that Michael Conlan got a stoppage. I think that Shabazz definitely could have got a stoppage earlier on in the fight for sure as well. But that comes down to experience. But it doesn't mean anything, so-and-so done this to that opponent, so-and-so done that to an opponent. Michael Conlan's got himself in contention for a world title. Shabazz isn't ready for a world title.
Just picking this back up with Ben Davison, I was asking where you think Shabazz is at the moment. You said European level. Why?
Yeah, he's around that European level. That's the sort of level that Diego Ruiz is at. Like I say, it was experience. Shabazz had never gone past 6 rounds. He got that experience doing the 10 rounds now. Which we knew he could do anyway in the gym, but it's good for his own mind to know, to go through the experience of doing it under the lights. So he'll be looking for fights around that level. If it's a case of having to bypass the domestic titles, he's been sitting and waiting around. That opportunity hasn't come. So if the opportunity doesn't come and present itself next, that's the level that we'll be keeping him at.
Okay. You mentioned Michael Conlan there, of course, goes in with your guy Lee Wood. A fantastic fight. Mike's clamouring it to be in New York, to get it on Paddy's Day, a load of Irish fans in there. Would you and Lee be okay with that?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, Lee's got a dream of boxing at the Forest Ground, but if that doesn't happen next, it'll be the one after that, hopefully. So Lee's not bothered. Obviously, Madison Square Garden, it's a fantastic opportunity for him to box in an iconic venue for boxing. So yeah, obviously he'd love to have it in Nottingham, but if it's in Madison Square Garden, he's not bothered either way.
Will you and Eddie and MTK be pushing for it to be in Nottingham though? Will you ask Eddie to do that? As he's done a multi-fight deal with Lee and he's a promoter, will you push for that to be in Nottingham?
I think Eddie wants to put it there, but of course it's, we fully understand that it's a business, so it's got to make sense. And it's got to be possible as well during the football season, so we'll have to see.
And if it goes in Belfast, you're okay with that as well?
If it goes in Belfast, it goes in Belfast. Look, at the end of the day, 2 guys get in the ring. Like I said, Lee would love whether it's this fight or it's the next fight. It's a dream for him to box at the Forest Ground. But whatever venue the next fight is. I'm sure the fight after that will be the one at the Forest Ground, if it's not this one. So, of course, that's what he wants, but he knows he's going in there to do a job.
Last week in Sheffield, I was asking Kid Galahad about, you know, the potential of fighting the winner of that fight with Wood and Conlan. Of course, I will ask you about his loss. It's shaked up the division. Kiko Martinez becoming world champion again. What did you make of Kid Galahad getting knocked out?
It just goes to show, like, Kiko Martinez is a puncher, Lee Wood's a puncher, and, you know, they're always a threat. Always a threat. They're always in there with a shout and in there with a chance. Whether it's a bit of complacency, whether it's just a case of getting clipped, you know, it's just everybody knows, and I always say it to the lads, anybody can get clipped. Happens to the best of them, and but I do believe that Kid Galahad will come back and win a world title again.
Okay. What do you think he did wrong?
I haven't watched the fight from top to bottom, so I can't say. I know that Lee Wood was doing the punchery. I saw the bit where he was saying that Kid Galahad was reaching to parry the punches, even as a southpaw, reaching to parry the orthodoxy's right hand. So, from what I saw, it looked like he got that right. He done a great job on the punchery as well. A lot of people was impressed with him, and I saw little bits of it, and I was impressed as well. So,
let's talk about your European champ over there. Done a deal with Probellum and Matchroom for Lee McGregor. I'm referring to. Just talk me through that, Ben.
Yeah. Well, it's with the best in the business, MTK, put together. You know, it shows that two entities can come together, do the best by the boxer, and that's definitely what's happened there. So it's a great opportunity for Lee McGregor.
Absolutely, and also Mark Dickinson features on a Probellum card in Sunderland under Lewis Ritson and Ricky Burns. So it'll be a big night in Sunderland and a good opportunity for Mark on that Probellum card. Yeah,
fantastic for him to get an opportunity to get out again so quickly. After, again, another very, very, very impressive debut. So he come over here being told, he's not going to get an opportunity to box before the end of the year. So he was out at Panda Express, out at Chick-fil-A, and now he's been told he's got the opportunity to box in December. So yeah.
It doesn't look like he's been at Panda Express, to be fair.
He walks in the gym like that, so do I.
Ben, just to go actually back to Lee McGregor, I saw some social media posts about Maloney. What was the situation there about pulling out a fight, etc.?
Yeah, look, we're not sitting here saying Jason Maloney scared to fight McGregor or anything like that, but it was a fight that Lee wanted.
He shot himself.
It was a fight. It was a fight that Lee McGregor did want. It was one that we wanted. So for whatever reason, whether it's he didn't want to box Lee or he didn't want to, if he felt he was going to win, then be in position to box Inoue again for whatever reason. But it was their team that decided to not take that fight.
Okay. Considering he has done a deal with Matchroom, is that potential Cash Farouk rematch on people's minds here?
Yeah, of course. I think Eddie's put that out there that he feels his next card in Scotland will be Lee McGregor versus Cash Farouk. So, but everyone's got jobs to do. You know, we're sitting here talking about Josh and who does Josh want after, and Lee and Cash, but they've all got jobs to do before it gets there.
Let's talk. Josh is amped up, isn't he? Is he always like this after training?
Oh, you should see him before.
Yeah, let's talk about Josh. Obviously, Terence come in the gym here at Top Rank Gym, and they had a little meet. I've spoke to Josh about it. What did you kind of read from that meet between Josh and Terence?
As Josh said, very respectful of each other, but also we was respectful that it's Crawford's fight week. Naturally, a little bit of sizing up from both guys, as you would expect on the first time that they was in the gym together. Then the next day they was in the gym together, a little bit of banter back and forth between the two of them. But again, very respectful. And when you get two guys that genuinely believe in themselves and genuinely of that quality, you don't need all the bullshit that comes with it.
Stylistically, how does that play out, Crawford Porter on Saturday night?
We'll have to wait and see. It's an interesting one. Lee made a good point. Lee Wiley made a good point that we were sitting there saying, we feel that Crawford will run Porter into a shot, but no one's been able to do that so far. The two times that he got knocked down was obviously Spence. It was more of a mid-distance type shot, not catching him coming in, and Broner was actually travelling to Porter. So it is interesting. Porter's a physical guy. No one deals with him with ease. So I do think that if Crawford gets him out there, it'll be a statement, but I wouldn't be overly shocked.
Do you think he's got to figure him out and potentially Porter could have some early success?
That's sort of, I think the general opinion is that Crawford will come out the winner. It's more so the opinion is in what sort of fashion. So that's what we're all tuning in to find out.
Have you noticed that when people are talking about Terence this week, ruling out Errol Spence next because of the eye injury, we don't know what's going on with him, people, especially here, like the American media, are saying they want to see Josh, should he be successful against Jack Catterall, move up to 147, and they want to see Terence box him next. Have you kind of followed that?
Yeah, naturally, it's, as I said before, two fighters of that quality, both one current undisputed, one former undisputed, both unbeaten, both on fantastic runs, one weight class apart. It's very natural.
That's a pound for pound fight, isn't it?
It is, yeah, for sure it is.
How does that play out in your mind? Obviously, you're not going to give too much of it away, but Terence and Josh, how does that play out?
I know, to be honest with you, it's a fight that Josh is desperate for. But
You've had to thought about it, surely, Ben.
yeah, but I'm not thinking about it because, look, you can't. That's right. You can't afford to overlook people, and it's very typical for people. Oh, I had it before with Tyson Wallin, and the Wilder fight was already signed before that fight. In your mind, whether you want it to be or not, is half on what's looming. You can't afford to do it. Full focus on Jack Catterall, no underestimating him.
How does that play out then, Josh and Jack?
You'll have to tune in and find out.
Not giving much here, Ben.
We're not going to give anything away, you know.
What does he present then, Jack Catterall?
The fact that he's unbeaten, he's got a will to win.
Good skills, really good skills.
He's earned his right to be in a mandatory position. In terms of technically, tactically, and all those kind of things, we're not giving anything away. No underestimating him. Okay. Josh is given an opportunity for someone to become. Josh has had to earn the right to become undisputed, and he's giving that opportunity away because Jack gave him an opportunity to become undisputed. He's given an opportunity away for someone to become undisputed and earn it in one fight, which that's not going lightly. So he's gonna. It's full business. He's had to really earn it to become undisputed. So no one's taking that away from him easily. That's for sure.
How was he around fight week? I'm talking about when Josh boxed Ramirez. Obviously, Jack was around fight week. I'm not sure for how long, but how was he around Josh? And
respectful. It's very respectful. We know. We know Jack. It's exactly as I was just saying before. When it don't matter that we knew that Catterall was next. Full focus was on Ramirez, and it's the same situation here. Don't matter if Crawford's next or whoever's next. Full focus is on Jack Catterall.
Okay. We'll look forward to that fight in February. Massive occasion in Scotland. How was your dinner with Bob Arum?
Yeah, good. Always comes up with some new stories that you've not heard before. Good entertainer.
Okay. Ben, let me ask you about a few topics away from your guys. Canelo moving up to cruiserweight. Is it ridiculous? Is it genius?
We're going to find out. I just keep thinking, I'm sitting here saying, can't look what's next. But I'm doing it with him thinking, has he got a move up to heavyweight on his mind or crazy? But people talking about, he's moving up to cruiserweight, he should fight Benavidez, he should fight Charlo. Listen, he's cleaned up the best of the division at 168, the best of the division. There's always, what about this guy? What about that guy? So he's earned the right to have an opportunity. The WBC have granted it. So fair play to him.
I saw your post about Beterbiev and Canelo. Why did you put that out? For people who haven't seen, you said that's a step too far.
Yeah. Me personally, it's opinions. That's my opinion. I just don't want to see it. It's very typical of boxing fans to always want to how far push it. Do you remember when they was talking about Floyd and Golovkin? Like ridiculous. So for me, I just think that stylistically, the step up in weight, all of that, I think it potentially a step too far, and it's just not something I want to see.
At super middle, light heavyweight or cruiserweight, is that the tough assignment for Canelo in your opinion, Beterbiev?
No, not adding cruiserweight in there as well.
Well, you've got obviously Makabu, you've got Bradis there, a Coley. What, you think those guys would be a tough fight?
Coley's effectively a heavyweight. I know he's a cruiserweight, but he's the frame of a heavyweight, you know. again, this is what I'm talking about. You're looking at. It's so easy to start looking at. And do you know what flashes back to me? Roy Jones, when he went up to heavyweight, then come back down. He always said that he ran up at the speed of a lightweight, the power of a heavyweight, come back down, the speed of a heavyweight and the power of a lightweight. He says that it massively affected him, so I don't know. It's interesting. Just have to play it by ear, I suppose.
When he does box Makabu, what do you think he'll come in at, Canelo?
I think he said he'd come at somewhere around 180 pounds. Probably a bit closer to 190, I'd imagine. But I don't suppose that's too far off what he comes down from.
Okay, also at the WBC convention, obviously we saw that they approved the Canelo move to cruiserweight. We saw Dylan Whyte Tyson Fury wasn't ordered because of the legal case going between Whyte and the WBC and an arbitration case is going on. What was your reaction when you saw that fight wasn't going to be ordered because the whole world did expect it to be ordered by the WBC?
I don't know. I'm sure it'll be able to get sorted out. I can't. Can you think of another fight that really makes as much sense?
They've mentioned Joe Joyce, Bob and Frank have said that.
I think that still the fight that makes more sense is Dillian Whyte, if we're being honest. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Dylan, Joe, maybe David A.
So I'm sure whatever the problem is there can get resolved, and hopefully we get to see that fight.
Do you want to see him active, Tyson? Because obviously we know after each kind of Wilder fight there's been a bit of a break. I know he had the Wallen and Schwartz fights in between, but still it seems like he hasn't had a period of continuity, Tyson. Do you want to see him active next year?
Yeah.
Or do you think that's not important for him?
No, it is, but it's a fine line between. We was watching the All Access, Showtime All Access Canelo Plant. See, straight away after the fight, Canelo was like, I need a rest. I think he knew going into the fight. I've been in that situation before with fighters where they've been that active, you know, okay, they need a rest, but we've got a fight coming up. So only he'll know his body. He'll want to be more active than he has been between the second Wilder fight and the third Wilder fight. But only he'll know when he needs a rest and whatnot. No one will know his body like himself.
Just to go back to a potential fight, Bob threw in a curveball to me yesterday. He said Otto won in rematch.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, that would be sticking it to Dillian Whyte, wouldn't it? But yeah, I suppose potentially that it makes sense. It's a fight that people would probably tune into because of the drama and that from the last one. But I do think that the fight that makes the most sense is the Dillian Whyte fight.
Eddie Reynoso's come out and said that he'd be more than willing to train Anthony Joshua, and he believes that if he comes to him, he can beat Alexander Usyk. How do you think that pair would match up with Reynoso and Joshua?
Yeah, I think it's a potential good pairing for what I feel. The adjustments and the style and the approach that Joshua needs to take in the Alexander Usyk rematch.
Why Reynoso though?
The subtleties and the elements that they focus, or it seems, I can't tell you because I've not been in the gym, but the subtleties that it seems that they focus on in that gym, some of the subtleties that I feel that Canelo, Joshua needs to add and will be key for him having success against Usyk.
Okay. Just to close off, I do want to ask about Tommy Fury, Jake Paul. I'm asking you about this because not many people have seen Tommy up close, and obviously when you were working with Tyson, I'm sure you'd have seen many rounds of Tommy in sparring, in the gym, etc. And there has been this perception of Tommy that perhaps, you know, is he a proper fighter because some of his performances haven't been to his best standard. He's admitted that the last couple of times. But you've seen Tommy up close, I'm sure you have. So give us an insight into Tommy Fury as a fighter.
Yeah, I've seen Tommy before he made his pro debut. So there was a hell of a lot of potential. I've seen him do a number on some decent fighters in the gym, and you could see there was 100% something there that you could work on and improve and build upon, 100%. However, I've not spent any time. I've seen him, very, very nice lad. Get on well with him. However, I've not seen him in the gym, sparring or anything like that since he parted ways with Ricky Hatton. To be honest, I've only seen performances in the ring, and I don't think there's been too much to be able to read into that because of the opponents that he's been boxing. I don't think, he could be one of them that the better the opponent, the better he performs.
Okay, so when you have seen him, even if it was years ago, give us an insight into some of his best attributes, Tommy. Like what sticks out in your mind?
He reminded me slightly of a David Hay.
Yeah?
Yeah, he reminded me slightly of a David Hay. Loose, sharp, could punch, put shots together well. Mostly looked comfortable on the back foot, not quite as comfortable on the front foot. But this is a while ago. Understood how to tie people up. I'm just trying to think of one spar sticking in my head that I can remember. And from what I saw, looked like he could punch.
Physically strong as well, Tommy?
Hard to say. I mean, you'd imagine so. Looking at him, it doesn't always go that way. But I'm going off of a couple of spars I can vividly remember.
And what about what you've seen in Jake Paul? What do you think of him?
To be honest with you, I haven't watched one of his fights through properly. One thing I will say is he actually spoke about it. I get on really well with Chris de Blasio from Showtime. He sorted us boys out some tickets to go to the Canelo fight. So obviously we went over to the press conference to meet Chris, and Josh wanted to get his picture with Jake Paul, but
Did he get it or?
Nah, they did. They asked Josh to have a picture with Jake Paul, but he. So while we was there, he was talking, and he's 100% right. He was talking about the investment that he makes, and it's something that I always go on about in boxing. He was talking about the investment he makes in having the best team in every area he possibly can that he knows of, whether it's in his content creation, his boxing team, recovery team, whatever it is. And from the outside, it looks like that's what he does. He invests in himself, and he committed himself to this craft. So hats off to him, fair play to him. And when you delve that deep, you can make huge progress in a short time frame. So it's an interesting fight.
Okay. And lastly, I want to close off on Devin Haney, out in a couple of weeks. In what would you say is toughest assignment to date, Jojo Diaz?
Every fight's toughest assignment. More pressure. After a good win against Linares, more pressure, expectation. All of these kind of things. So, yeah.
How are you managing that? Obviously, you've got the boys here, like Josh, Mark, Lee, doing stuff like a couple of sessions a day. And then what, do you see Devin in between, or?
Yeah, so we do our 2 sessions a day, morning and evening, and Devin does his session more so midday.
Okay. And how's he looking?
Looking good. Sharp, extremely sharp. Of course, as the fight approaches, more and more adjustments get made, just final pieces to the puzzle. But he's ready, definitely.
What if a situation come up one day where he dominated the lightweight division, and we know he's a big lightweight, if he moved up to super light, and just say Josh was still there, what would happen then?
It's not going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen because, again, Josh has cleaned out the super lightweight division in a fashion that, in my opinion, no one's ever done. No one's cleaned out a division cleaned out the champions, cleaned out all of during his build up to become undisputed, he literally wiped out the division, top to bottom. His business he's done there. Devin's got business he wants to do at lightweight. Both work with myself, so obviously it's just not going to happen, so it's a pointless question. Not to be rude.
No, I know, but it just popped into my mind. What if that potential situation come up? It'd be awkward.
They support each other. Devin's a fan of Josh, Josh is a fan of Devin. They both want to see each other do well, like each other's styles, and both working with myself, so it's just a fight that's not going to happen.
What have you made of Teofimo Lopez's comments recently about Josh and Devin?
He's trying to promote himself off of other people because they've struggled to get a promoter to put a fight on. That's why he's been inactive. Again, he claims himself to be undisputed, but it's the most undisputed that anyone's ever seen. During the Canelo plant, they put up all the undisputed champions. His name wasn't on there. And that's not me being funny or taking anything away from him. It's just a fact. You know, there's a lot of dispute whether he's is or isn't the best lightweight in that division. So how is that undisputed? Don't matter about what belts are. There's no dispute who the best 140-pound fighter on the planet is. No dispute. So there's a lot of business for him to take care of there. And most people dispute that he'd even beat Lomachenko again, fully fit. And I think he probably doubts himself, if I'm being honest, because there was a lot of talk about them. Yeah, we're going to do the rematch. It's done. We've agreed. After the Nakatani fight, they both won the broadcast. Yes, we're going to do it. Didn't happen. So, yeah. We're not interested in talking about that. As I said, obviously Josh has made it clear, and I've said there, Josh is desperate for that Terence Crawford fight. Desperate. Respects him, but 100% we believe that we know what Josh will come out victorious and how he'll come out victorious in that fight. However, there's no discussion on anyone other than Jack Catterall.
What makes Devin Haney the best at 135, in your opinion?
Boxing IQ, commitment, dedication. He lives the life, very clean liver. Everything he does is focused on performance.